of a word fitly spoken. Today, the Word of God finds us in boot camp. It finds us in a place where leadership development is taking place. It's the criteria. It's what's necessary for a leader, and what's necessary for leadership training. And it's found in the book of First Samuel, chapter number 21 and 22. Chapter number 21, I smile because you don't think that this incident where David plays crazy would be considered leadership development, but it's a personal note that God has allowed us to see. God has allowed us to view. God has allowed us to pull back the covers on this great man of God and let you and I see that this is going to happen. You're human. It's going to take place. You're going to have emotions that you can't bring in the check. You're going to have issues. Don't panic. Don't freak out because you go through stuff. So David is on the run from Saul. And in verse number 10 of First Samuel 21, he was so afraid. He's afraid, and he hides in the camp of the Gath folks, which were giants itself. But his only solution is to act like he's crazy. And that's the truth. That's what happened. And the king says, "Get him out of my face. Why would I be entertaining this madman?" And then it's on the heels of that David, therefore, chapter 22 of First Samuel, David therefore departed thence and escaped to the cave of Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him. Um, David is running for his life. He's concerned out of the things that God has done in his life. He still has this element of fear, and so he plays crazy to get out of the sights, out of the range of Saul, and he finds this cave. Um, Before his brethren come, let me just back up a minute. David now finds himself in this cruel and vicious environment. He's anointed, he's called of God to do great things, and so are you. But the issue is that the enemy is trying to sidetrack you. He's trying to cut your legs off, trying to stop you before you can get any real traction. And you got to see this for what it is. It's a camping ground. It's a boot camp that God takes us through in order for us to see ourselves, in order for us to see Him. And so this verse, this phrase, David therefore departed thence and escaped. He escaped that acting like he was crazy. He escaped the madness that he was dealing with, and he ends up in this cave. And my definition of this cave is a cruel and vicious environment. This was a big cave, and what's in this cave? What's in your cruel and vicious environment? Is it your family members? Is it the job? Is it your church or fellowship? Or what is it that you have deemed a cruel and vicious environment? David runs from Saul that's trying to kill him, and he just wants some peace. He just wants some quiet. He just wants a retreat. Just give me a break. And he ends up in this cave. I want to ask you today, how you doing in your cave? What's happening with you? Is it sickness running through your family? Is it madness in the workplace? Is it just a relationship that is just off? Don't understand what she's thinking about. Don't understand why he acts like that. Is it in where you live in the world? Because we broadcast all over the world, and there's some crazy stuff that's going on. And I just want to encourage you today that you may just be living in a cruel and vicious environment, but it is the campground, it is the boot camp, it is what God is going to use and to turn those lemons into lemonade. Listen to what happens. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him. They did not, and this is how you tell whether or not people are really with you. Um, when things get bad, when it's obviously personal, that David is like, I heard it that he was acting crazy. Our leader is actually human. And I heard that, yeah, that he acted like he was a madman. And can I now follow somebody that's actually human and not superhuman? Can I actually follow somebody that has kinks in their armor? Can I follow a man or woman of God that just doesn't have it all together? David recognizes this and he says, I just need to throw in the towel. I need to quit. I need to get away and get somewhere where it's just me. But people find out where he was and they esteemed him as a leader. And where is he? They don't care why, how, when, where he ended up in this bad situation. They just want to know where he is and they want him to lead them. This is this is where the rubber meets the road on not only the development of David, but the development of these that will follow him no matter where he goes. I um, I must say this. I remember when I got married to Jolene, and um, it was difficult. It was cruel, and I had gotten myself into some situations where it was a cruel and vicious environment, not because of my relationship with her, but my present living circumstances. When I got married, and we got married in Australia, and this is for some of these ladies that are going to hear this that think you in love with this man. And I had to leave right away. Right after the wedding, after the marriage, I had to leave. And I took a job in Dallas, Fort Worth that offered me a good job, and I took it. Well, I didn't have a place to stay at that time. And I ended up in the budget suites. No offense, but it was a sad environment, and there were rodents in the place. I tried to deal with it. I tried to get them to correct this matter. They wouldn't, and so Julene showed up, and she dealt with it. She dealt with it with a smile. She's dealt with it with the. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed, but she dealt with it and said, "I just came here to be with you. I want to be with you, no matter where you are." I'm sure she didn't do a background check. I'm sure she didn't do a credit reference, but she demonstrated to me something that I will never forget, and that was, "I just came here to be with you, wherever you are." And we've got coffee mugs that says that Ruth said to Naomi, "I will go with you wherever." And we use those things almost every day to remind us David's men, his family members, it was over 400 men. And verse number 2 of 2 Samuel 22 says, "And everyone that was in distress, everyone that was in debt, everyone that was discontented, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. And there with him were about 400 men, distressed, in debt, broken, just life had just given up on them. But they recognized who their leader was. They recognized the anointing on David, and I want to be wherever he is. I have an example of that in my personal life, that God emphatically showed me who was to be my instructor, who was to be my sensei, who was to be my captain. It just so happens that he was in Australia. And so for 30 years, I made that trip almost twice a year because I just wanted to be with him. I understand what these guys are going through. I just wanted to be with him because he had something that I needed that was going to take me to the next level. It was boot camp, it was training, it was instruction. And you got to find that in your life. You got to find somebody that God has called to be that one to motivate you. Now, I'm trying to figure out what in the world, because I found out that these 400 men were being trained by David in that cave, that cruel and vicious environment, and they became David's mighty men of valor. I'm trying to find out what David used to train them. What? There was no internet. There was no tables and chairs. What did he use to teach them how to be mighty men of valor, generals in armies? What did he do? I remember so much of the training that I received just being in the presence of the man of God, riding in the car with him. I remember those things. It wasn't the formal school education that I did receive, but it was something far beyond that. And I'm concerned about this next generation. I'm concerned about how you're being trained and taught and skilled to be the next generation of mighty men of valor. I remember when I first went to Australia and I was in this little bitty room back there and I was sick nigh unto death. I mean, I wanted to see Jesus. And the man of God came and he stood in the doorway and he leaned. I mean, I was curled up in the fetal position. I'm ready to go. Jesus, this obviously I made a mistake. And he leaned into the door and he says, "Oh, is this what you came to do, thou mighty man of valor?" That's what he said. And I was so mad. It I was so I garnished some strength and I got up and I went on another 2.5 hour ride to Maroochydore to preach to people that I had never seen before. And God showed up in such a manner that I'll never forget it. When I was at my weakest, he became strong. When I was staying in the budget suite, he showed me something that just blessed my socks off. We're not in the budget suites now, just FYI. But I want you to see the brokenness. Yeah, I want you to see how God took this cruel and vicious environment and cultivated a victorious exit. When you come out, when you come out of this mess, when you get delivered, when your family gets healed and delivered, when finances gets healed and delivered, your friends get to where they need to be. That training that they received in that cave, when David turned around and says, "Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna work with you guys. I'm gonna work with you." 400 men in a cave with not a lot to work with, and God turns them into mighty men of valor. Don't despise your current situation. It's building character in you like you'll never believe. There's some things that you learn in boot camp that will take you through the war if you let it. I gotta go. I'm Dr. Charles Kent with another Word Fitly Spoken. God bless you.